thing this week is the discussion of sources. And this is going to be your longer discussion. So to complete the discussion of sources, you have some readings this week. So this is how I would do this. I would start by watching or reading, right? You have some options with some of these. Watch the deepfake source, right? So here you have a deepfake of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, right? Basically surrendering to Russia. And this is one of the most sort of dangerous or notable deepfakes out there, right? And this is an example of, we're in this really complicated, problematic media environment. And we're surrounded by dubious, duplicitous, untrustworthy sources, right? And folks, it's just going to get worse. So we need to be able to think through these and to assess sources. So we're starting with these really complicated and dangerous and problematic sources. So that's right, an example of a deep fake, and we have a question about that. We're living through a book banning rise in our culture right now. So I have some questions about, what do you think is going on with that? Right? Why are we in this book banning bonanza? Right? Right? I want to get your take on that. What is your understanding of that? So we have a couple readings on that. Banned books in Washington State. Yep, it's happening here. And let's actually look at a banned book. So we actually have some evidence and we can ground this discussion. So you've got Entango, right, takes 3. So this is a book about gay penguins in a New York zoo, right? So I love it. You can listen to it, you can watch it, or you can read it, right? So you have 3 different ways to access this. So take a look at Tango. Right, why is this book being banned? Or why was this the most banned book for several years? Right, so I want to really dig into what's going on with sources in our culture, right? And we have a question on ChatGPT and algorithmic bias. So I'll say something about algorithmic bias and then ChatGPT. Where did my reading go? So with the algorithmic bias, right, I think this is really important. This is, basically Google is sort of shaping information that we ask for through our searches, right? If we plug in something, think of autofill, right? So autocomplete, right? If you do climate change you get an autocomplete, which starts suggesting things to us. And it starts shaping our perception about, what we should think about climate change or what people have thought. So it's sort of moving up sort of extreme thought to the top of the list. So take a look at that, right? But this is a part of algorithmic bias. Is it's shaping just through our search, just through our questions, the way information is even presented to us. And then, there's some classic ones in here, right? If you put in, professorial style, professor style, you get, right, a man in a tweed suit, right? He's white, right? You get sort of this mono view of a professor, right? If you put data scientist, if you put chemical engineer, right, into Google Images, right? So take a look at this document. What do you think about this? Have you, run into this stuff before, right? What do you expect to see? What's missing? How might these images persuade us, right? So just go through this short PowerPoint. I think that, right, the images were captured in the last 2 years. So Google has fixed a little bit of this, but not all of this. I've put some things in, I was like, oh, Google, we need to fix some of this. Okay, so that's algorithmic bias, right? Can you define it? What is algorithmic bias, right? And then, right, we have a question on ChatGPT, so take a look at that. Okay, and that's all under discussion of sources, right? So read those readings and then, right, engage this rich discussion here. And always make sure to respond to a class colleague in the discussion. Okay, folks, if you have any questions, email me or ask questions on the discussion boards and I'll get back to you. And I'm always available to Zoom. Just let me know. Bye, folks.